So you mentioned all the people who are going to be in the room for the important meeting that's coming up in January. You mentioned that you're a disruptor, and that's why you go on Twitter. One name has been very obviously left out. Okay, as far as a newcomer in the industry who is buying $1 million, $6 million all over the world and everything like that, and you've been battling with Jon Stewart from Resolute Racing on Twitter. What's your feeling on him, and why do you have a beef with him?
I think he's very inconsistent. Listen, for people who like me, you're going to like me. For people who think I'm an asshole, they're going to think I'm an asshole. But by the way, if you ask me if I'm a good guy, the answer is yes. If you ask me if I'm an asshole, I'm going to say yes also.
Right. I was going to say, what if I think both?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what?
Both
You should.
True.
You should. Jon Stewart it's almost like he's trying to define who he is. John, you and your family have been in this game for how many years now?
Almost 40, if you can believe it.
40.
Yeah.
I've been in the game 20 as an owner.
20, yeah.
This weekend, he fought with L&J. It's Larry, Nancy, and Jamie, and he fought with Jamie. Like, to me, these are people who have respected owners in the game that have won some of the biggest races and have been in the game for 30 years, and you're going to come in here 1 year and know everything. First of all, he's focused in Japan about handing off, Goliath stickers and cards and T-shirts. He tweets out, John, I know, and I hope this is not a bad thing, but I know your dad flies private with you sometimes. Right. Because you give Ed Rosen a ride once in a while. That's how I know it, okay?
That's only because the guy he works for won't pay for a ticket. But all right, that's a whole other therapy session. Okay.
No, I would pay for first class. I'm not going to fly in private, okay? So, and Ed is flying private with me too.
Yep.
When was the last time you tweeted out, me and my dad are getting gas in Alaska? What do you think? Okay? I don't think we do that. I don't know how that looks.
Right.
How many times have you put on Twitter, hey, MV Magner, I'm going to outbid you today. Let's go. When is this game about outbidding people? John, you outbid me on Sandman. I didn't put out, I'm going to get you next time.
Right.
So that's that. The other thing is, I'm just going to be honest. When he first started in this game, I met him at Keeneland. His first statement to the press was, I'm not a bidder, I'm a buyer. I would have to guess he's been run up between $5 and $10 million by that.
Right.
I'm going to tell you right now, there's horses I wanted for $250. Right. I know he's been. I raised my hand to about $650. I let him get it for $700. By the way, that's not running him up, Joe and Jon. You know why? If he stops, guess who gets the horse?
Right. Yeah. You get caught speeding. Yeah, exactly.
So every time he's bidding, I'm going to bid. I don't care. You can't be this dumb.
Right.
But somehow he is. Hold on. Now, I've tried at the very beginning to say, hey, listen, I've been in this game for 20 years. I know a lot about it. This is not sustainable. Let me feel. No, he's got all the answers. John, we know what these horses cost. We know how much they cost a month. I don't have a farm, John. Do you?
No, sir. Nope.
No, sir. He has a farm. Okay. Right. This is not sustainable. No. I'm going to put a bet out here, and Joe and Jon, you could play if you want. I give him till July of 2026 before he's totally out of the game. And by the way, I hope I'm wrong.
Right.
But it's not sustainable. You can't go to Japan and go to England and go to Tats and spend $8 million. You can't go to O'Connor and spend $2 million. It's not sustainable. John, what he's going to find out, and Joe, West Point knows this too, that, most of the time you don't get it. And then he's got a farm.
Right.
His upkeep on the farm and 150 horses, I don't know, what is it, maybe 12 million a year?
Yeah. Well,
maybe.
And that's the thing. Like, what is his end game? What is he trying to promote is what I'm trying to figure out.
I don't know. And by the way, listen, and I'm wrong. Listen, I've seen this happen to richer people.
Yeah.
The money runs dry.
Well, that's it. Mm-hmm. We all run out of money before we run out of horses.
So now I put
even though the population's been going down.
Exactly. You know, you have a 40-year history. I think you're okay. By the way, could you and your dad spend more money if you wanted to?
Sure, we could.
Sure, you could. So can I.
Yeah.
But you don't because you're not dumb.
Right. Well, because you look for value. You look for value. And I guess if you're new in any business, you're not going to recognize value over price, right?
Well, he's trying to make headlines, and it's worked.
He is.
He's gotten a lot of press from certain outlets.
Joe, you know what the biggest press he's going to have is dispersal sale.
I know. That's what I'm
look, listen, I'm not trying to, I sincerely would love to talk to new owners. The game needs owners like this, but I'd rather him spend $10 million for the next 10 years than $100 million in a year, which he's doing.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's not.
Yep.
Hey, I love that. I got the under in July of 2026. You guys have the over and under. I'm just curious. Joe?
I think that's a fair line.
I know it's a good line. I made it.
Yeah.
He makes it through this year. What do you got?
Right.
I'll say slightly over. I'll say the end of 2026.
Wow. Okay. I'm sticking with my answer of Thirpita Anna.
John, you know what? I'm going to let you off because it's a tough. I knew Joe would answer it. That's why I went to him first, by the way. I got him there. So there we go. But
Mike,
now I'm going to hit Joe too. But listen,
we've been talking,
I want to be very clear.
Go ahead.
I hope he makes it. I really do. He can be good for the game. But when he writes a 20-page essay that in 1 year he doesn't even know. I watched him talk about a horse he bought in France on Twitter. He looked like a guy who was asked about a book he never read and was telling you about it. It was so uncomfortable. Right. It was like, guy, don't do that. Don't act like you know what you're talking about. So,
just as a general rule, nobody's reading those long ass tweets, and that goes for everybody who's posting those novels.
I think mine they read, Joe. I think you read mine, Joe. Come on. Yeah, you never know when
I get the highlights
shot there. So
I get the Repole digest sent to me, the highlights.
Okay, good.
Hey, Mike Repole, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for coming on. Let's do this every couple of months. Why not? Come on, bus balls, talk about racing.
John just sent me a text. Mike, next year, I don't really need Joe. If you want to do this with me.
That's right. You didn't read the first part, which was on the QT, Mike. It was supposed to be on the QT. You blew it. You already blew it.
My ADD kicked in. I just went right to the gist of it. So, listen.
All right. John's future co-host.
Honestly, you guys really do a good job. And I think more fun podcasts like this, handling the real topics, and the ability to get experts like Tinky. You guys are incredible. Seriously, I got to give you a lot of credit. But make this more challenging and ask the tough questions, because I think we need a podcast that, like, you're not gonna upset me, like you're not gonna hurt me or offend me. There are people out there that would want to be vocal, and we all should be vocal. And I'm glad that you guys engage not just with questions, with opinions also, because, I'm not always right. You guys are not always wrong. I'm not always wrong. You're not always right. So, but at the end of the day, I think one thing we share in common is we love the game.
Yep.
And we want it to be better.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
Perfect place to end it. Thank you, brother, man. Happy holidays to you and your fam.
All right, guys. Take care, man. Take care.
Thanks,
Bye.
Mike.